Would you like to play?
Sure. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be studying.
So am I.
Great.
You can play on my team.
What is your name? Well, my parents call me Henry, but you can call me Indy.
Jiddu Krishnamurthy. This is my brother, Jiddu Nitya.
You have the same first names?
Where are you from?
New Jersey. I'm American.
Here, we see the last name first.
Wow. So, what's the inning, what's the score, and who's up?
Who is up?
Yeah, who's batting?
Who is batting? You.
You guys ought to think about getting a new one of these. Must be Indian rules. Hum it in here. Come on. Give me your best shot.
Hey, wait a minute. He can't run off the mat like that.
Safe. What are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm playing baseball. What are you guys doing?
We are playing cricket.
Cricket? What's cricket?
What's baseball?
You don't know what baseball is? Ty Cobb, Cy Young.
No.
I'll show you. First, you gotta break up into teams of 9.
Hey!
Not bad, Sanjeeva. Okay, top of the 9th, 2 outs, 6-5. Us. We can't let them score. Sanjeeva! First! Throw to first! Second! Throw to second! Hurry, pick it up, he's gonna score! Now, come on, throw to second! Krishnamurti, home! Great throw, Kay.
Thank you, Indy, my friend. This baseball is a fine game.
Henry? Henry Jones!
Geometry. Thanks, guys. I gotta go. Thank you, Indy. Goodbye, Indy. Goodbye, Indy. Bye. Don't have to be sore at me. I was learning culture.
You were doing nothing of the kind. You were playing baseball.
That's right. It was a cultural exchange.
A cultural exchange is the transmission from one population or community to another of the totality of its behavior patterns, arts, beliefs, and institutions. One would have to agree that the flogging of a small sphere with a bat is not a cultural exchange.
But they taught me how to play cricket.
Really? You learned how to play cricket?
The pitcher's called the bowler, and a curveball's called a googly.
Well, you did learn some cricket. Perhaps the afternoon wasn't a waste after all. I hope you didn't wear yourself out for tonight.
Where are we going?
To a reception given by Mrs. Annie Besant at the Theosophical Society. I'm not in favor of your going. Your father, however, feels it would be educational.
Do I have to wear a jacket and tie?
Yes.
Annie Besant is
She's a believer in free love, and she's a socialist and an atheist.
She's not as bad as some people insist on portraying her.
Well, she certainly seems to have a bad reputation.
Yes, she does. But so do many people who, how shall I put it, go against the grain. The fact of the matter is, Annie Besant is a remarkable woman. She's an advocate of women's rights. She was also the first woman to enroll in London University.
Was she really?
Yes, Helen, she was. And she's a friend of George Bernard Shaw's.
The playwright.
Who also happens to be a socialist.
Yes, the playwright, and many other prominent people. Mrs. Besant cannot be easily dismissed.
Father, what's theosophy?
Well, theosophists believe in the commonality of all religions, what they call a brotherhood of man. They're interested in psychic and supernatural phenomena. There's even a rumor they found a messiah, some sort of great spiritual teacher.
I know flim-flam when I see it, Mrs. Jones. Occult, supernatural, new messiah. Oh,
Let's not prejudge things. We can all see for ourselves and let cooler heads prevail.
Good evening.
hello.
Good evening.
Professor Jones, welcome to the Theosophical Society.
Thank you.
Make yourselves at home. You are just in time. It's a very special day.
Greetings, friends, and fellow members of the Theosophical Society. Those who don't know me, I am Annie Besant. How wonderful it is to be here in Benares, the holiest of cities. Our work is progressing wonderfully. Our membership is greater than ever. I would like to introduce you to someone, a young man who has shown unusual spiritual purity. May I present Hubert Van Hook. But today, my friends, we are gathered for a very special occasion. I believe you all know Mr. Charles Ledbetter. Charles.
Thank you, President Besant. I wish first to express the Society's gratitude for the generous donations offered tonight by two of our newest members, Mr. Mukherjee of Calcutta and Mr. Richard McCallum, just arrived from Edinburgh. It is always a momentous occasion when the spiritual powers send one of their own to teach us the way. So it was with Sri Krishna in the 4th century BC. So it was with Jesus Christ in the 1st century AD. The coming of a new world teacher has been prophesied for some time. Several months ago, friends, I was walking on the beach at Adyar. I saw an Indian boy. He was possessed of a magnificent spiritual aura. It separated him from all others. I immediately brought him to the society compound and conducted a clairvoyant investigation into his past lives. I immediately recorded the results of that investigation in this book. The spirits of the boy's past lives spoke to me. I knew then that I had discovered the new world teacher. Friends and colleagues, I present that boy, Jiddu Krishnamurti.
Hey, I know that kid.
Lovely introduction, Charles.
Thank you.
What is your impression so far, Miss Seymour?
Well, I haven't seen any holy spirits, if that's what you're asking.
Indy,
Oh, hey, Kay.
have you hit any home runs lately?
No, but I hit a few wickets. Oh, these are my parents. My father and my mother. And my tutor, Miss Seymour.
Very pleased to meet you.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
I'm Dr. Henry Jones of Princeton University. This is my wife, Anna, and my son, Henry Jr.
How'd you do?
Good evening, Henry.
Pleased to meet you.
And this is my son's tutor, Miss Helen Seymour. Miss Seymour is a member of the Royal Society of Literature and the Royal Victorian Order. There are many Oxford scholars in her debt, myself included.
After that introduction, Miss Seymour, it is my honor.
Good evening, Mrs. Besant.
Come on, Kay. I'll teach you how to throw a curveball.
And I'll teach you how to hit a googly.
So, what do you think of our humble little gathering?
I'd say it's not so little.
Nor so humble.
Ah, a disbeliever,
No, Mrs. Besant. On the contrary, I believe in quite a number of things.
but not theosophy.
No, madam. If you'll forgive me, not in an organization that exalts a young boy to its world teacher.
Charles, do you have a copy of your book?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Besant.
I would like Miss Seymour to read it.
Madame is welcome to this copy. This is a record of the past lives of Krishnamurti.
Perhaps you will reconsider your opinion.
While you're in Benares, what the Theosophical Society has is yours.
How very kind.
Would it be possible to see around the society grounds and the library?
Of course. Why don't you all come to tea tomorrow?
I'm afraid we have a prior engagement.
I'd like to.
Good.
But Mom, they promised.
Hubert, please, not so loud. We'll talk about it later. Come on, honey.
A multi-faith approach is one of the founding principles of theosophy, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Theosophy is Greek.
Yes. That's right, Henry. Do you speak Greek?
Well, Theo means God, and Sophia means wisdom, so I guess theosophy would mean wisdom of God or something like that.
What a remarkable boy.
Don't give him any ideas. Henry does have a special aptitude for languages. Tell me, Mrs. Besant, while we're speaking of extraordinary children...
Oh, there's no need to be diplomatic, Helen. You want to know whether the young Krishnamurti is a fraud.
Well, yes, so I do.
Charles Ledbetter spoke quite well last night. Did you read his book?
Yes. I'm curious about him.
Where can I begin? He is my friend, my colleague. In spiritual matters, I trust him implicitly.
I don't want to unfairly cast aspersions on his character, but I am skeptical about Mr. Ledbetter's claiming to have seen Krishnamurti's aura and claiming to have had a vision about Krishnamurti's spiritual past.
Helen, Charles did have a vision, and his aims are the same as mine and every other member of the society, to seek spiritual truth. Charles has immense psychic ability, Helen, and his book proves it.
Hey, look. What are they doing over there?
It looks like meditation.
It's a kind of mental discipline, Henry.
Oh, you mean like geometry?
No, not like that. When a person meditates, instead of filling the brain with thought, he tries to empty the brain of thought.
Why would somebody want to stop thinking?
Well, when somebody stops thinking and empties the brain of thought, then he only has to deal with what is left.
What's that?
Peacefulness and tranquility.
Wow. I'm gonna try it.
You'll be all right, Helen. Helen, you must open yourself to spiritual experiences, or you'll miss so much.
Annie?
Charles?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Mukherjee and Mr. McCallum would like to present their donation checks to the Theosophical Society.
Yes, of course. Helen, would you mind?
I understand.
Charles, will you continue Miss Seymour's tour? You could show her the library.
Yes, all right.
Helen, will you join me for tea later?
Thank you, Mrs. Besant. I read your book. It was most interesting, especially the description of the conversations with all those spirits, the people Krishnamurti was in former lives.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Some of the spirits, you state, are thousands of years old and are from a variety of cultures and ethnic groups. I couldn't help but wonder something.
What?
How did you communicate with them? Do they speak the king's English, or are you fluent in ancient languages, Greek, Sanskrit?
Yes, I do speak Greek.
Oyster hoti nun lego.
You have become less than friendly, madame.
No, merely inquisitive.
Well, that was a rather dirty trick, trying to expose my ignorance of Greek. Alhos hores, eu epistemai Hellenisti legain.
Well, so you do.
Are you finished with your interrogation?
It isn't an interrogation, Mr. Ledbetter. I'm simply curious about all this occult and supernatural activity. For instance, the aura. In your book, you stated that you instantly knew Krishnamurti was the New World teacher when you saw his aura on the beach at Adyar. This is supposedly a field of energy which surrounds Krishnamurti.
All living things emit an aura. Krishnamurti's was of a brilliance and intensity I had never seen before.
Do I have an aura?
Yes, in fact, you do.
It's funny, I can't see it.
I can.
Oh, you can see it, because you're a psychic, right? You have telepathic powers. So tell me, what am I thinking now?
Miss Seymour's psychic power is not something to be joked about. Your skepticism is merely a reflection of a rather limited Western education and upbringing.
Well, let me ask you another question which exhibits my limited upbringing. That American boy, young Hubert Van Hook, the one Annie discovered in Chicago before you discovered Krishnamurti here. What does his aura look like?
Rather dull, like yours. There are many things which cannot be seen through Western eyes.
I don't believe in what I can't see.
Miss Seymour, you're a Christian, correct?
Yes, Church of England.
And as a Christian, you believe in God?
Yes.
Have you ever seen God?
No, I have never seen.
And Christians believe in the devil, don't they? They believe that the devil can walk the earth, don't they? Have you ever seen the devil? Miss Seymour?
Indy,
Oh, hey, Kate.
what are you doing?
Meditating. It's pretty hard. I got all the thoughts out of my head once, but then I started thinking about apple pie.
I'm going for a bicycle ride. Would you like to come?
Great. At the reception last night, Mr. Ledbetter said that you were sent by God, like Jesus. What did he mean?
Who do you think God is, Indy?
My Sunday school teacher says that God is an old wise man who lives in the sky. He's got angels all around him. But if you're bad, he punishes you. But if you're good, he rewards you.
That is the way a Christian sees God. But remember, Indy, you are in Benares, where all the world's religions come together. You know, Indy, the ancient Greeks and Romans and Egyptians believed that there was a God for peace and one for war, a God for birth and one for death, a God for everything. Then, the Jewish people decided that there was only one God, and the Christians declared that Jesus Christ was the Son of this God.
He said that God, his Father, had told him to come down to earth to save us from our sins. Do you believe in Jesus, Krishnamurti?
I believe that Jesus Christ was a great man and a great spiritual leader. But it is not important what I believe.
Wow.
That is the Buddha.
Who's he?
He was a great spiritual leader too. His followers are called Buddhists.
Did the Buddha know Jesus?
No, Indy. The Buddha was born 600 years before Jesus. The Buddha was born a prince.
A prince?
Yes. His name was Siddhartha. He lived in a big palace. He got anything he wanted. Gold, silver, fine clothes. But all the suffering of the world, disease, poverty, war, was kept from him. Then one day, he walked outside the palace. He saw a sick man, a crippled man, and a dying man. And he was really saddened by what he saw. And from that day, he renounced all his wealth.
All of it?
Everything. And he left the palace to wander amongst the common people. One day, he sat under the shade of a bodhi tree. He had a vision. He saw why people suffer.
Why?
I want you to think of something you want more than anything else in the world.
I want to live forever.
But everybody has to die. You cannot live forever. How does that make you feel, Indy?
Sad, I guess.
That is the answer to your question. You see, people want things they cannot have. And that makes them sad and they suffer. That is what Siddhartha, the Buddha, discovered under the Bodhi tree.
But what did he do about it?
He stopped wanting things he could not have. And he was content.
Was Buddha a god?
No, not like the Christian God. The Buddha is a guide for his followers to lead a more harmonious life. A life based on love and compassion. Choro.
I like this place.
I thought you would.
What is this called?
This is a ghat,
What's a ghat?
a place where Hindus go to bathe in the river. They feel the water of the Ganges is holy and can purify them. There are more Hindus in India than any other religion.
What's that?
A Hindu funeral. The body is placed on a wood pyre and cremated, and the ashes are sent back to this river.
That's too bad.
Why do you say that?
The person's dead. That's sad.
Perhaps indeed. But for the Hindu, birth and death are a part of life. And when you die, you are reborn in another form.
Who are the Hindu gods?
There are many, many Hindu gods, but the most important three are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And of those three, Shiva is the most feared and respected. He is called the Destroyer. This is the temple to Shiva. And here he is.
Why is he called the Destroyer?
He sounds mean, doesn't he? But really, Shiva is a compassionate god because in Hinduism, the destroyer of life is also the bringer of life. So what Shiva destroys, he renews and restores.
And now tell me, Helen, what did you really expect to find here last night? A lot of raving lunatics? Holy rollers speaking in tongues?
No, Mrs. Besant, nothing as exotic as that. Though I have to admit, though, that your reputation, well...
So you thought the infamous Mrs. Besant would be a wild-eyed rabble-rouser, living in sin, practicing strange occult rituals?
Yes, I'll accept that. Perhaps I did.
And now, how do you find her?
To be a highly intelligent, dignified, and independent woman.
How very kind. Do you know, Helen, those are the very words I would use to describe you. So now I think you need no longer call me Mrs. Besant.
I am by nature a formal person. Annie.
Have another cup of tea.
Actually, I'd love one, but I think I'd better go and find Henry. Have you seen a young American boy who was here with Krishnamurti?
Yeah, they went bicycle riding.
What are you reading?
Isaac Newton's Principia Mathematica.
That's ambitious.
This is an Islamic mosque, the house of worship for the city's Muslim population.
Come on, I'll race you up.
You know, Indy, the Muslims worship one God as Allah. Allah's messenger's name is Muhammad.
Who's he?
Muhammad said that he was the successor to Jesus Christ.
Really?
Muhammad was born in Mecca and was raised by his uncle. He became a very wealthy man, but when he was 40 years old, he received a calling from Allah to preach the word of God to all people, that men should be kind and respectful to each other, rather than hateful. His revelations and teachings are recorded in one book called the Quran.
Is that like the Bible?
Yes, for the Muslims, it is very much like the Bible.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط
different religions.
May I ask you a question? Why did Mrs. Besant bring you here from Chicago?
She said I was going to be the new world teacher. She said it was prophesied.
But then what happened?
Well, when Mrs. Besant and I got here, Mr. Ledbetter had a book that said Krishnamurti was the new world teacher. And now everybody looks up to him. And I think it's all a fake.
A fake? Why do you say that?
Well, when Mr. McCallum and Mr. Mukherjee heard about the book...
The men who donated the money to the society the other night?
Yeah. When they heard about Mr. Ledbetter's book, they got angry because they weren't mentioned in it. So then Mr. Ledbetter changed the book and said that the spirits talked about them, too. And now everyone's in the book, and they're all happy. And I think Mr. Ledbetter made the whole thing up, and I can prove it.
Her baby's dead.
Final proof.
For a proper English woman, you subscribe to a strange set of manners, Miss Seymour. I don't believe I gave you permission to go through my personal belongings.
My actions are defensible given the circumstance. I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
I've learned you were thrown out of the Theosophical Society, Mr. Ledbetter. You then attempted to ingratiate yourself back in by discovering the New World teacher, a simple Indian boy by the name of Krishnamurti. But the fact of the matter is you chose him arbitrarily, did you not?
Your allegations have no basis in fact, Miss Seymour. But since you believe that they're true, what do you intend to do?
Expose you. I'm going to tell Annie.
Go right ahead.
You mean that?
Oh, yeah. You are welcome to tell Annie Besant. Get out of my office, Miss Seymour. When you're done with the book, please have it returned.
Helen. Something is troubling you.
Yes, Annie. I don't actually know where to begin.
Tell me.
It has to do with Charles Leadbitter.
Oh, is there something Charles has done?
Yes, there is.
What?
The book he wrote about Krishnamurti.
Yes?
In my opinion, it's a fraud, Annie.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean exactly what I say. I think he made it all up.
You can't actually be serious.
Charles was expelled from the Theosophical Society, wasn't he?
Yes, but those days are over now.
And he was readmitted because he supposedly spoke to the spirits who told him Krishnamurti was the chosen one, the next world teacher.
Charles did see the spirits, and Krishnamurti is the new world teacher. You obviously don't understand.
I understand very well, Annie. I believe Charles wrote 2 versions of the book. He only mentioned the prominent members of the Theosophical Society in the second version because they were upset. They were left out of the first.
He did not. He did nothing of the kind.
Annie, he did.
You believe he did? Why?
I have the original manuscript that proves that he did. Look at it.
I won't look at it.
Look at it, Annie.
Obviously, Charles had several different revelations at different times. That's obviously what happened. I don't need to look at it.
But Annie...
Helen, Charles Leadbetter does not control me. No one does. I appreciate your concern. But there are many things you just don't understand. You're a highly educated woman. You think intellectually, logically. We in the society have gone beyond logic. Also, I think you fail to realize the hypocrisy of your position.
Hypocrisy? I beg your pardon, Annie.
You have faith in your God, a God of compassion and tolerance, have you not? Yet you have no tolerance for my faith.
But your faith is in a young boy.
It was clear to the disciples from the first moment they saw him that Jesus Christ was special. Was it not?
Yes, it was.
And it is clear to me, as clear as daylight, that Krishnamurti is special. My faith has nothing to do with Charles Leadbetter's book.
But Annie...
The truly spiritual life is not based on logic, it is based on faith. We in the society understand that, and I'm sorry, Helen. But you do not.
Goodbye, Annie.
Here. Keep this.
Thank you. But what is it?
It's a baseball card. That's Ty Cobb.
I shall keep it to remember you, Indy. This is for you.
Water from the river Ganges.
You are my friend.
You're my friend too, Kay.
Yes. You've asked me questions which I would not answer. You've asked me about Mr. Leadbetter and the Theosophical Society. They have been very kind to me.
Is what they say true? Are you a god?
No. I'm not a god.
But they say that you're this great spiritual leader. Why?
Because they're searching for someone to lead them to God.
Can't you?
No. No person can lead another to God. each in a search for God, alone.
Krishnamurti, I was still wondering, who is God?
God is not a Buddhist, or Hindu, or a Muslim, or a Christian, or a Jew. God is in every person and in every living thing. There is one thing that all religions say, that God is compassion. God is love.
So that's why you showed me all those different religions, isn't it?
Yes.
Goodbye, Kay!
Where are they? I don't know. I can't think of a time your father's ever been late. It really ought to have. Maybe that's them. There they are. What was the problem?
Oh, the conference ended late and there was terrible traffic on the way here.
It was really my fault. I wasn't feeling very well, and
Mother! Mrs. Jones! Mother!
Open the door.
Okay.
You'll be all right, dear, once you get on the train. Right, come on.
How sick is she, Father?
Quiet, Junior. Helen, would you mind seeing if there's any more water? Thank you.
Of course.
Is she gonna be all right?
I don't know. The heat, perhaps. Or something she ate.
be all right, darling. Don't worry. I just felt a little. I just felt a little faint.
Just don't talk, Anna. Rest.
But really, please don't fuss. I feel so silly. I know I shall be perfectly all right once we arrive.
More?
Henry, try and read.
Try it.
Oh.
Are you feeling better, Mother?
Yes, Henry. Oh,
Are you sure?
yes. I told you that I'd be fine.
Mother, come here. Come here, look at that. Right down there. Isn't it amazing?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Do you see it?
The Great Wall of China.
Professor Jones. Welcome, Professor Jones.
Thank you.
I'm to take you to your hotel.
Oh, jolly good.
Anna, I have a carriage waiting.
We'll follow you.
Henry, just slow down. Wait till tomorrow when we start on our journey to see all the wonders of China.
Be so kind as to present my compliments to Fen Yu and tell him I shall look forward to seeing him.
Thank you. You're going to see wonderful things, Henry. Things you never imagined.
Professor Jones, Fan Yu presents his compliments. He looks forward eagerly to a discussion.
Splendid.
He will be at your disposal after tomorrow afternoon.
That's excellent news. And please tell Fen Yu that the honor is entirely mine.
Tomorrow? But what about our trip?
Well, we'll have to cancel it.
Cancel it, Henry.
Fen Yu is the greatest translator of Western literature in Peking. This really is a wonderful opportunity.
I understand.
Now, I hope to read his translation of the Arthurian legends.
Of course. Never mind. But we'll just have to go without you.
No, that's out of the question.
Why?
Well, you can't go off on a jaunt on your own.
Well, I shan't be on my own. I will have Henry and Miss Seymour. We'll be fine.
No, I'm sorry. It's impossible.
But why?
Well, you can't go gallivanting around China, especially after what happened on the train.
Oh, nonsense. I'm completely well now. Besides, the trip will be good for Henry. While you meet with Mr. Fen Yu, we shall take in some of the wonders of China.
My dear, I'm not happy about this. It's...
Oh, don't worry. We shall have a most lovely time. Won't we, Henry?
Yes. Yes.
Very well. Come on.
Here we have the gate of heavenly purity. That was for
Yes, Henry. Uh-huh. And look at those lanterns there.
What are those?
Those are lanterns to light the palace of the young princes.
Wonderful temple.
Yes.
Marvelous.
Yes.
Please, Miss Seymour, allow me.
Anna, I'm still not happy about you going off on this jaunt by yourself. You know you're not fully recovered.
Oh, nonsense. I was over the fever a week ago. I would have you know that American ladies are renowned for the strength of their constitutions.
Mother, look at the
Besides, Miss Seymour and I have 2 strong men to look after us on our journey.
Professor Jones, I have every confidence in Li Xingsui. I'm sure you could not wish for a better interpreter and a guide.
I'm sure not. And we are extremely grateful to him for undertaking this task.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Mother, can I ride on the baggage cart?
Henry, dear, you get your suit dirty and don't scuff your shoes. Come here. Come here.
And remember, Anna, he is not on holiday.
Mr. Lee and I have devised a very interesting and informative itinerary.
Yes, highly educational.
I'm sure Junior is delighted to hear that.
They say that education is a journey of the mind. So what could be better than to travel with a book in the hand?
Traveling without one.
Come along, Annie. If you're determined to go, you'd better be off, or you'll miss your train.
Now, darling, don't you worry about us. We are going to learn all about China, and we are going to have the greatest fun doing it.
Faster! Faster!
Sweetheart, no. Think of the poor rickshaw man.
Quicker.
Quicker! Quicker! Quicker!
The Great Wall of China was designed by the Emperor Qin, whose aspirations
Excuse me,
were
Miss Seymour. It is pronounced Qin.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Lee. Emperor Qin, who was a wise but ruthless man, reigned from 221 BC to the year 210 BC. Henry, are you paying attention?
对不起，这件车上我们包下来啊，对不起。
Now, Henry, do you remember what we said about Chinese dynasties? They were named after the families of Chinese emperors. The Emperor Qin was the first to unify the territory we now call China, and the time of his rule is known as the Qin dynasty. And just as in America we speak of the Revolutionary period or the Civil War, in China we speak of the Qin or the Ming dynasty.
Oh my, look at that.
What? Let me see. Well, let me see.
Every Buddhist temple has, at its entrance, 4 guardian kings. They protect the world against attacks from evil spirits. The red-faced statue is the guardian of the south, also called the Lord of Growth. The laughing Buddha is officially known as Mi-Lo. This type of Buddha represents happiness and good fortune.
Please don't run up here. It's too dangerous.
Oh, Mother.
Come here. Oh, at last, there it is. The Great Wall.
It starts at Shanhai Guan, by the sea.
How long is the wall?
I'm not quite sure. About 3,000 miles, I think.
And it was built by Emperor Henry? Emperor
Qin? Why do you think he built it? Do you think he just woke up one morning and said,
Hey, let's build the Great Wall of China?
Well, not quite, but very nearly. Parts of it were built earlier as fortifications and watchtowers. But Emperor Qin conceived the idea of one continuous wall to mark the limits of his empire.
You mean he built the whole wall himself?
Oh no. Other emperors came after him to complete the wall. Millions of men were conscripted.
Oh, like building the pyramids.
Yes, but that was 2,000 years earlier, and of course they were not fortifications, but tombs.
This too is a kind of tomb. They say that in some places, a man died for every yard of the wall.
Ah, must be the longest graveyard in the world.
No, Mrs. Jones, I don't believe I did. Master Jones! Master Jones!
Henry! Here I am.
Oh, Henry.
Mom.
So, we travel to Jinan County and visit Chufu, and we may manage to visit the Mongyang Temple on the way back.
That is a long journey, Miss Seymour. We would have to hire a conveyance at the inn, and it would probably not be very comfortable.
Still, it would be so interesting. Don't you think so, Mrs. Jones?
Oh, yes. To say that we had seen the birthplace of Confucius would truly be something to remember.
Henry, Have you learned the chronology of the dynasties yet?
You know, Miss Seymour, I think it's more important to learn the language of the country than it is the history.
You mean you haven't learned them?
The Shang dynasty, the Chu dynasty, the Qin dynasty, the Tang dynasty, the Sung dynasty, Yuan dynasty, Ming dynasty, and the Manchu dynasty.
You left out the Sui dynasty, the Three Kingdoms, and several others.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Lee, might I have a word with you? See that man there? Here's the man on the train. He's been following us.
Oh, surely it's just a coincidence.
Mr. Lee, I'm not stupid.
I beg your pardon.
He's been watching my mom. Why would he do that?
Perhaps just because she is a foreigner.
My father says the Chinese don't like foreigners. They want to throw them all out.
A few revolutionaries, perhaps.
That's what he is. He's a revolutionary. Do you think he has a bomb? Should we throw him overboard? What should we do?
Now, young Henry, a man does not act without thinking. Everything in nature depends upon balance. Action must be controlled by knowledge.
So, there are 5 elements. Metal, wood, fire, earth, and water.
Yes, fire is fed by wood. And after the fire has burnt itself out, there remain ashes, which become earth. In the earth are found metals, from which water springs. The water feeds the trees, and thus the circle is completed. So nature finds its own balance.
Mom?
Yes, sweetheart. It's time for bed. We have to make an early start in the morning.
Mom...
Come on. It's time for bed.
The innkeeper says that he is very reliable and that he speaks English.
Oh, any man calling me Ah Ping?
He says his name is Ah Ping.
Ping.
Number 1 chop, walkie.
Is he saying that we have to walk?
No. In Pidgin, walkie is used for all means of transport.
What's pigeon?
It is used by Chinese people to foreigners who don't understand Chinese.
It's very quaint, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Mrs. Jones, Miss Seymour, are you sure you want to take this journey? The roads are very bad, and this cart will not be comfortable.
Mr. Lee, we are seasoned travelers by now. I'm sure that we'll be fine.
Mr. Lee, what's the Chinese word for mother?
Ma.
Hey, Ma.
Oh, Henry, you know how much I dislike it when you call me that.
It's Chinese.
No, not quite. I'm afraid you called your gracious mother a horse.
No, you said...
I said ma. Ma means mother. Ma means horse. In Chinese, inflections change the meaning of a word.
Ah, Chinese, very tricky language, huh? Ma, 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 ma. Hey, Ma, my head hurts.
Oh, Henry, dear, you've been running around too much. You stay with Mother and calm down.
Are you all right, Mrs. Jones?
Why, yes, of course. But Apine says we must go chop-chop before the rain comes.
I don't think Mr. Lee approves of pidgin English.
It is very convenient.
But perhaps not very dignified.
The Chinese language is a difficult one to learn, and there are many dialects, but
you agree with Henry that people who go to a foreign country should learn to speak the language?
Where is Henry?
Excuse me, ladies. There's been some misunderstanding. He was told he was needed here. Nothing to worry about. 你待着。
你快走开！你再来我就把你送进衙门里去，下手示众。走了。
Oh, boy.
We shall not see him again.
Oh, boy, wait till I tell Miss Seymour and
Henry.
Mom.
I don't think we should tell them. If he was just a common thief, but still, it might alarm the ladies. And Ah Pyung would lose face because he left his cart and the luggage at the bidding of a stranger. You took the time to think, and then you acted wisely. And so you have your own approbation. You do not need the applause of others.
I guess so.
Well, there's Henry. I was afraid for a moment you might have gotten lost.
No, evidently the stupid man was saying there was something wrong with the horse.
No, Ah Pyung was just apologizing for his unsuitable horse. And he promises to hire a bigger, stronger one when we come to the country roads. There may be rain.
Mom, my head hurts. I don't feel so good.
You don't feel so good? Well, his head does feel rather hot. Do you think he has a fever?
Oh, I'm sure. Yes, he does seem rather feverish.
How much further? I'm not sure. I've never been to this part of the country before.
Are we almost there?
I don't think so, sweetheart. I don't think so. Mr. Lee, how near are we to the mission?
I don't know.
Mr. Lee, Queen, why have we stopped?
We just need to cross this river. How? 走吧。 Are you all right? Are you hurt?
Everything is gone.
My bag. Oh, my bag. Poppy, where's my bag?
Mr. Lee, be careful. Mr. Lee.
Give me your hand.
把杨老师带回来了，他们要在这里住几天。下雨开始。
Mr. Lee, ask them please to light a fire.
And make a pot of tea. Tea always helps.
We must get him out of these wet clothes.
And the luggage hadn't gone in the river. All our food, clothes, medicine, all our money. We really have lost everything.
What's in your bag?
Only books, I'm afraid. And my little reading lamp.
能不能上火，做一点茶？
干什么？上火去啊！
你还站着干什么？去还有去。
Drink it down, sweetheart. We'll do you good. Mr. Lee, where is the nearest doctor?
这附近有一个大夫。
山村有个大夫，浑身上他是个秀才。
There's a doctor in the next village, a Chinese doctor, Dr. Wen.
Was he trained in America?
No, he practices traditional Chinese medicine.
What about the American mission?
这儿是不是有一个美国教会？
哦，有个美国教会，可是教会离这里起码3天的路程。
你有马吗？还没有。There is an American missionary who is a doctor. But the mission is at least 3 days' ride away. And Huang Feng does not have a horse.
It's all right, Henry. I'm here. Mother's here.
I need to go home.
I know, sweetheart. We'll go home very soon. And when we get home, you know the very first thing we'll do? We'll go to Uncle Pete's farm. You can feed the chickens. And you can have a ride on his pony. Isn't that a good idea? Hush-a-bye, don't you cry. Go to sleepy little baby. When you wake, you shall have all the pretty little
Huang Feng only inherited about half an acre.
Half an acre? Why, that's not enough to keep body and soul together.
I think it is not easy.
No, we mustn't impose on these people any longer than we have to.
You are right. But they are glad to welcome you into their home. Hospitality is very important in China.
我们有在他们这个人。
Mom, I've got a pain.
Henry, sweetheart, what's wrong?
Pain.
Where does it hurt? His fever's returned. His head is hot, but he's still shivering. Let's get him covered up and get him away from the window. Oh, Henry, sweetheart. If only we could have a proper fire.
Oh, sorry.
Pyung has found the horse.
heart is not too badly damaged. He and Huang Feng are mending the wheel right now.
Excellent. Did you find the luggage?
No. I'm sorry, it must have been carried downstream.
Well, it can't be helped. We must get Henry to the doctor as soon as possible.
Henry isn't well enough to travel.
Oh.
He's very ill, I know he is, and I wish that there was a doctor near, but...
You're quite right. Henry should stay here. We will send our Pin to fetch the doctor.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Lee, would you ask our Pin to come in here? He must leave as soon as possible.
Yes, Miss Seymour.
If only I hadn't insisted on this trip. It's all my fault.
Oh, no, Miss Seymour, of course it isn't. If it's anyone's, it's mine. My husband told me that it would be dangerous to make this journey, but I wouldn't listen. If anything happens to India, I don't...
Miss Seymour, Ah Ping says he can set out right away.
Does he know the way?
Me sorry. Me belong that Fasan Hai plenty sick. Just Beijing man, fetchy, chop chop.
What on earth does Joss Pigeon Man mean?
Clergyman. You see, he has understood perfectly.
Yes, as long as he understands, the clergyman must also be a doctor. I'm going with him.
It will be a very hard journey, a long way over bad roads.
All the more reason for me to go with him to make sure that he doesn't dawdle.
Well, I'm sure we can trust our Pin.
Well, I'm sure he means well. But if the doctor isn't there, will he be able to insist on finding him and bringing him back?
Well, Mr. Lee could go with him.
No. You'll need Mr. Lee here to explain to the family what you need. I can be far more useful fetching the doctor.
Mom, Dad, am I gonna die like Susie?
Well, honey, of course not. Your sister was very little, but she was never very strong.
Now she's in heaven with Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna die and go to heaven?
One day, but not yet. Cha? Yes. Yes, please. Cha. Mr. Lee!
Is that the doctor? No, it's just a man who has some business with Hong Kong.
Go away! Henry! Go away!
Somebody help me!
Help me, please! Go away!
It's just a dream, sweetheart. It's just a dream.
No! No! Let me go! How did you get out?
No,
All right. It's all right. How soon will the doctor get here?
Another 2 days, certainly, if they have found their way and the doctor is at the mission.
It's all right. It's all right.
佛爷保佑他一路平安，一路平安，一路平安。老佛爷保佑他一路平安，一路平安。老佛爷保佑他一路平安，一路平安。老佛爷保佑。
Mr. Lee, what are they doing?
They are praying for your son to have a safe journey.
I won't let him die. I won't. Please fetch the Chinese doctor. Please fetch the Chinese doctor. Why doesn't he do something?
He is looking. That is the first rule, to look. After that, he will feel the pulse.
他什么时候发病的？
He asks what the symptoms were and when they first appeared.
He said his head hurt. It was about 3 or 4 days ago.
3、4天前，他说他头疼。
And then the morning after we arrived here, he had pains in his stomach.
当天早上，他说他肚子疼，
Terrible diarrhea.
拉肚子了。
您的孩子病很重，内脏已有损伤，要立即进行诊疗，否则出血了就难办了。
He says your son is very ill. The viscera has all been damaged. He must be treated with acupuncture right away. If they have not been too severely damaged, and he can restore the balance between yin and yang, young Henry may still recover.
What is he doing?
He is preparing the acupuncture needles.
Needles? Mom! He's gonna put those needles into my son. No! No! No!
He's gonna hurt me.
你们不必担心，请都出去吧。
Let him hurt me.
You must leave.
No!
If he is to save your son's life, you must leave.
I can't find you. I don't understand. I don't understand. My son is going to die. Anybody do anything?
You must stay here.
Please, Mom, come back. Please. Mom.
You must trust him. He is Henry's only hope.
Where are you? Where are you? Mom.
son is going to die. I want to be with him. Let me go.
Where are you?
I'm scared.
I know, sweetheart. I know.
针灸流传几千年了，这孩子内热过剩，
Going to hurt me.
I don't know Henry,
气管有损，
but we must trust him.
这几支背针
He's going to
是
make
给
you
他
well.
退烧。
He says that acupuncture has been in use for thousands of years. He will start the treatment in the back to reduce the fever.
请你帮助我，再把这孩子翻过来。
We need to turn him onto his stomach.
Yes. All right, sweetheart. There we go.
咳嗽，
Young Henry, cough.
响一点，
Bigger cough.
再响一点。
Even bigger cough.
人所周知，精力肾精液穿行，如同大地的河流。这种精力叫气。
Energy flows through the body through certain channels, just as streams and rivers flow through the earth.
人的气管都有真血在体表，针灸经络会影响气血。
Each organ in the body has its own meeting point on the skin, and thus it is possible by inserting a needle at these points to affect the flow of energy
调节阴阳平衡。
and thus restore the balance between yin and yang.
"阴阳在宇宙中相辅相成，
Yin and yang are the two opposites which control the universe, and thus the human body.
人体也是一样。阴属湿柔弱，阳属干刚强。
Yin is moist, weak, feminine. Yang is strong, dry, masculine.
阴阳相互调谐，犹如四季。
These two must be in harmony, for how can there be spring without autumn, or summer without winter?
No. No more medicine. 让他睡吧。
孩子出了汗，热就退了。现在应该服药补气，而后精力可以恢复
He。says the child is perspiring again, and that is good. But he must drink this medicine to restore his strength.
No. No more medicine. I don't want him disturbed anymore.
让他母亲决定吧，我已经尽力了。
He says, let it be as the mother wishes.
孩子内伤不
He
重
has，done what he can.
可以恢复。
If his strength holds, he will recover.
Miss Seymour, Miss Lee, Dr. James Morton from the American Mission, Mr. Li Jin Shui, our guide and our friend.
Li Xing Shui, delighted to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And this is Dr. Wen Chu.
Really? Dr. Wen Chu. Wen Sheng Sheng. Xing Hui. Xing Hui.
久仰久仰，马先生大名早有耳闻，请。
How is he?
It's still too soon to tell. Very ill.
You're very fortunate. Some of these local doctors are charlatans. But Dr. Wen Chu is very famous, and he has had some remarkable successes, especially with typhoid.
Typhoid?
I would think so, from what Miss Seymour has told me. Well, young gentleman, I would say that you were on the mend.
I see how Pian has found some of your luggage.
I know, isn't it splendid?
Yes.
Now, don't forget, Henry isn't out of the woods yet. He needs plenty of rest. And like Dr. Wen Chu said, a very light diet. No need to fatten him up too soon now.
Bye.
放回去，我们还在手呢。
放开了。
放开了。Mylene。不，回退。那儿。很好，你赢了。You won. You won. That's good.
我叫与人战胜你的穷老婆。
Mr. Li, what is going on?
Wang Feng could not grow enough to feed his family. He had to borrow money, and he gave this land as security.
So they've come to take the land.
Where's my purse?
No, Miss Jones, you mustn't. You would lose too much face. Miss Seymour, you must impress upon
You
him.
mean he would rather lose his land and his home than lose face? Excuse me. I am Mrs. Henry Jones.
这是约翰太太。
This is a fine gentleman, and his wife is a great lady.
他说黄蜂和他的太太都是很好的人。
I owe them a debt of many thousands of dollars, and yet never once have they reminded me of that debt. Huang Feng, do not let me leave your house without allowing me to give you just a small token of what I owe you.
我请求你们，别让我这样白走，连一点谢意都没有。
钱还给你。
My, how lovely. This reminds me of what we call in America Thanksgiving dinner. Henry, would you like to say grace?
I mean, it's just like my friend Christian Murte said. That God is in every person and in every living thing. And that there's one thing all religions say. God is compassion and God is love.
I will say so.